Hello and welcome back to How to Build Software Without Coding. I'm Mr. Hackathon and I show you how to build software without coding. And in this walkthrough, I am going to show you how to use API routes with Chipp and why and when you should use them. In my example, I have what I've called an outreach pilot. So this is a custom AI assistant to be able to manage and optimize my outreach efforts when it comes to AI and automation services. This has been built very easily within Chipp. As you can see here, I have basic description, a very simple prompt, conversational starters. But here's where it gets really interesting. Chipp has an ability to upload knowledge sources to your assistant. So if we go ahead and open that, you will be able to see that you can use URLs, PDFs, you can use Instagram, but in our case, we are using the API route. And the difference between using an API route and a URL is that with an API route, you can leverage live data. So anytime this opens or anytime this chat opens or new conversational starts, it's going to request this data here in my spreadsheet. And I've basically removed stuff because there was a lot of information in here for the sake of the tutorial. And it's going to pull in this information from this document into every live conversation. And if we didn't use that and we just use, let's say, a URL, or we exported that Google Sheet as a CSV or a PDF, that is a static file. So I'll be able to use that, but that will be static information. If you think about a PDF, uploading a PDF is static information. And let's say something in the PDF changes or information that needs to go in the PDF changes, you need to re-upload it for the latest training data. But if you want something live that's updating consistently, you want to use a API route. The way I have done this is I've created or duplicated an old spreadsheet, removed some stuff, and I have my spreadsheet here, and I use Sheety to create an API. There's two routes to create an API. You can either use Sheety, which I'll show you in a second, or you can directly interact with the Google APIs. I actually believe interacting with the Google APIs directly is a little bit harder and a little bit more complex. Sheety is very simple. So if we take a look at this homepage, what it does, it converts Google Sheets to APIs, allowing you to develop prototypes, apps, or whatever you want to do with the API. This allows you to get information from the sheets or add information from the sheets, delete or update information. Then it gives you a link right here that you can basically feed to Chipp. If we go back to my Chipp assistant, the way that works is, let's say I select API route and I go back to Sheety, I copy this, I go ahead and hit paste, I send a request, and you can see in a second it will bring back the information. You can see it brings back the information from the spreadsheet. When I click add to knowledge sources, it will be added just like this. If we take a look at how this works, I can say, what companies am I currently and you can see it immediately brings up the companies I'm currently looking at to outreach to. What I have personally then done is I have created an extension to be able to directly open this within my Google Sheets. So if I go on chat, you can see open outreach pilot. You wait a couple seconds. and we see that we now have our Outreach Pilot here, and I can interact directly with Outreach Pilot from the Google Sheet. There's also an option to be able to open it from a side dialog, so it can open somewhere here instead of, or a sidebar rather than a dialog. The way I did this is I created an extension using Google Apps Script. As you can see here, the next steps for this might be to integrate it with my Google Calendar, potentially integrate it with Trello or what I use to manage cards or manage the tasks. And you can just build on from here using Chipp as like your interface layer for AI. If you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the comments or reach out to me directly on social media. Happy hacking.